So, welcome and thank you so much for joining in. I'm so happy to have today as my guest, Coach Taz. And Coach Taz is one of those multi universal, multi dimensional beings of light. And I'm so happy that have met her in person. We actually shared a grand experience walking on hot coals together. So, after that, anything goes. So, Coach Taz, we are co collaborators of our book, Belonging Secrets to Soothe the Soul. How do you feel about that?
And it has been an amazing, amazing journey, not only meeting you, but the other authors that contributed to this book. And it's just been absolutely magical. The community that we created, the connection that we have. And many of us haven't met in person. You and I, of course, had the good fortune to have a magical experience of personal growth and, walking on coals and walking, being firewalkers. But yeah, belonging, finding that journey to inside has been just tremendous.
So, a lot of the theme of your story is with connection.
Mhm.
And, you're a people person. I mean, having seen you in person and see you interact, I mean, you love delving into, you know, questioning people and who they are and where they are, and then just kind of sharing that soulfulness with them. So connection is the heart of your name, I think. And how do you think that translated into the story that you told?
Well, that's a good question. I think we're all here to help each other. That's one of the themes that I found in my life, and it's something that I share in my story. So, without spoiling the story, um, it's about connection, and it's so important to not only connect with other people. That's where we can get one sense of belonging. Another way is to connect with ourselves. And when we find that connection to ourselves, when we feel welcome and safe in our own being, that's where this sense of belonging, that spark starts and just starts to ignite, and it just fills our life. And then that brilliance illuminates the lives of others around us. They can feel that.
Hmm.
First, connect with yourself.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think that is one of the core things that this journey of writing, the book together, exploring what that meant, where that's taken me, is that connection comes from the inside. It's an inside job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
One thing that we have in common is we both come from multicultural backgrounds.
Hmm.
So, how do you think that um, early experience in your life and ongoing, because you're still a multicultural person, a child of the universe? I mean, how do you think that colors your sense of connection and healing with the work that you do now?
I think that when I was younger, I never really felt like I fit in. I was, two different cultures, and it was in a time when there wasn't a lot of that multi-race connection going on. We lived in, suburban America, and I was around Washington D.C., but still there were pockets, and I didn't belong in one group. I didn't belong in another group. There was a lot of racism. There was a lot of difficulty, and I think that uh, um, struck a chord in me where, one of the, we're wired to survive. And so one of my survival and adaptation mechanisms was to withdraw. And so I was always longing to connect with other people. I was longing to belong. I was longing to feel welcome. And one of the things that this journey of writing this book and exploring what does belonging mean took me to a place where I realized that um, we're all here to help each other. And where did that come from? And how do you connect? And it took me to understanding that when we come into this world, we're born with everything that we need. And I've spent a lot of time seeking that outwardly, trying to connect with this or connect to that. And like you, I felt different. I didn't really fit in. It's people say, oh, that person's beating, they have their own drummer, and I have my own orchestra. And I've had people say, you have an orbit in your own universe. And so, which is flattering, but it also, it lends itself to that idea that, I'm not fitting in. So,
Right. And it could be very lonely.
it can be very, very lonely, but really understanding that you have everything that you need. And when I started to explore that and kind of seek, I thought, wow, if we're born with what we need, I looked at like the breath. You breathe in, and then you breathe out. You exhale. So it's that involution and that evolution. It's like giving and receiving. The breath is similar to giving and receiving. And then I connected that connection is like giving and receiving. It's a dance. Like you can't hold your breath and just inhale. You have to exhale. We're designed that way. So you can't just give and give and give because you don't want to let anybody in, because you don't want to be hurt.
Right.
One of the things when you feel like you're different and you feel like you don't belong is you really learn how to become a chameleon, because you really want to be liked. And the thing is, you got to learn to like yourself. So that, and connecting with yourself is one of those things that you uncover, and it is really healing.
Yeah. I always say, know thyself, right? Know thyself first, and then you can figure everything out.
Absolutely.
So on your journey now, how do you see the transition from where you were and where we've been with the journey of this book and where you really want to take it now?
I think that I have, with age comes wisdom. And I've spent a lot of time really delving into where do I come from and who am I? And really getting clear with my values and what's important to me. What is my why? And how do I connect with myself? Really understanding and developing my self-image, my self-respect, my self-trust, and finding that sense. And from that, I want to share with others how to get to that point of self-acceptance. Because if you can love yourself, that relationship begins here, and that it's that field of the heart. And that's really where I'm going is helping people who have grown up feeling different or isolated or alone, and they have put up all these walls to protect themselves, which is really brilliant. It's brilliant. We're designed to be safe. The thing with that is, in writing this book, the journey that I came across and learned to understand was I had built up walls, and that was great. I was very safe and very protected. The part about walls is no one gets in and no one gets out. So I realized that I had walled myself in. So then I began to chip away at it, and I got a little door, and I got out, and I found the field of the heart. And then I understood that all these things that had happened to me were really not to me, they were for me. And the field of the heart is this just beautiful, open, flowered field, much like the Wizard of Oz starts in black and white, and then that's you in the wall castle, and your walls are really high, and you're in this prison, but it's one you made for yourself. Then you go out and you're in this field of wonderful flowers. That's the field of the heart.
Yeah.
And I've been there, and now I can go in, I can go to where people are standing in that walled castle. And I can't take them there, but I can stand at the door and say, there's another way. And I really believe that's my purpose, and my mission is to help people live an inspired life, get clear with their values. understand their why. Know that you don't have to know the whole plan. If you don't like what's going on, what you really need is the next step. And I'm there to help people gain that clarity, gain that insight so that they can take that next step. Because we're all here to help each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's the beauty of this community. And, I feel that we are, in that way, the elder wise women,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel for the young girls and women today that are really struggling in a different way, because there's so much social media. I mean, you and I didn't grow up with so much of that inundation of other people's opinions, and so there's an epidemic of depression and suicide, anxiety. And so I needed to learn one step in front of the other, one breath at a time. And I think that's something that's so beautiful, and the whole heart connection as well. I mean, I'm involved in that too, the heart coherence, the brain coherence.
Mm-hmm.
And that if we can, tell our stories so that other people can understand, like I tell my children, you're in your 20s, you're not meant to have figured it all out. They feel this pressure from outside and inside. Oh, I should know already. I should know the job. It's like, no, give yourself the license to figure it out and have fun and make choices and not be in so much criticism and judgment. I mean, allow yourself to have fun and explore, because, life is a journey and it's an exploration. And so sometimes when you hear from people on the other side of that, and it still is, I mean, for me, I'm discovering new things all the time. So I think that's the beauty of it. And if we can share that message, and I think this book helps open up that conversation to that, right?
And one of the beautiful parts about this book is that through these stories, and they're from very different women that come from very different backgrounds, and each woman has a story that shares insights and wisdom that they learned along their journey. There's so many different ways to relate and connect. And when we connect with someone else's story, we see ourselves in there, and we can learn and grow and also be entertained.
Right. Most importantly, right?
Be entertained. Yes.
Most importantly. Well,
Yes.
thank you so much, Coach Taz. I look forward to continuing our journey together and our work together.
Yes.
And is there anything you'd like to leave? I mean, in terms of people contacting you or communicating further with you?
The best place to contact me would be at tazchaudry.com. That is where I have information about the work that I do and how other ways you can reach me, and where you can see me online.
Okay. And look for upcoming programs that Coach Taz and I will be doing as well.
Indeed. Indeed. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you so much. And as we say, ciao, ciao for now. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.